Hey everybody, and welcome to the chat tonight. Today I have two special guests with me tonight, and I am so excited to welcome you guys to the chat. You're finally here. So welcome Danny and Kenny from DaniKen Aquatics. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Terry.
Yes, thanks for having us.
I will have to tell you that it took me an embarrassing amount of time to realize that your guys' names together make up your channel name. And I'm like, an embarrassing amount of time. Okay.
I don't think a lot of people put that together, but
I don't know why, but I was like, that's genius.
Yeah, you're not the only one. Trust me, we got people asking me all the time in chat, are you Swedish? You know, are you well, I'm Norwegian, but that's not where the name came from. But,
well, I'm glad I finally got it, because I feel like I watch you all the time, but I was telling you, I still don't feel like I know what's all in your fish room.
and like I told you, I doubt we can tell you everything in our fish rooms. But
no, that's not true. I can tell you every fish.
All right, do it right now. On the spot, every one of them.
Well, do you have any that stand out, or do you just love them all the same?
Well, the ones behind me are some of my favorites. That's my Oscars. I have two more in my 55 that were pairing off, but they're now have a separator because the one ripped the poor little guy's face off almost. So
wasn't his face, his lip got mangled.
Well, it took chunks. That's all I know. And then besides this tank, I have a display African cichlid tank. And then downstairs would probably be both of our loves. We have our 240 discus tank with about, what, 9 in there now? I'm trying to remember how many are in there.
I don't
7 or 8. Seven or 8. And then we got 2 more discus upstairs. And then another one of my favorites would be my mud skipper tank. I love the mud skippers. And then what else we got? I know the Geophagus, Savannah. And then the Insane Clown Posse. And then she lately is, well, I shouldn't say it was just her. I went on this nationwide tour and met a lot of the fish family, and they all got me pretty addicted to guppies while I was along the way. I didn't realize how many gorgeous guppies there are out there.
Yeah.
She's been on me a while to get guppies, and I'm like, everybody's got guppies. And now I see why. They're a cool little fish. So you can tell them about that, Danielle, about the different lines of guppies you've gotten now.
Yeah,
all about your guppies.
Yeah, I ordered while he was gone the red mosaic Dumbo ear guppies, and then I got some red dragon guppies, and then we got from a local breeder, we got panda guppies that are really breeding beautiful babies. And let's see, what else do we got as guppy wise? Then we've got some mixed endlers, mutt guppies, and
you got the koi, the koi's from Jesse.
Oh yes, I got the koi guppies from Jesse from HC Aquatics.
HC Aqua.
Yeah, I always want to say aquatics. But I'd like to do shrimp. I got lots of different kinds of shrimp, all different colors. They're the Neocaridina.
Those are the ones I have too.
Just they go better with the water.
Yeah, we've got some of Lucas's Blue Dreams, and then is it Lucas's orange or yellows we have?
Yellows.
Lucas's yellows, and then we've got some orange, blue sapphires, Bloody Marys.
Yeah. Jade green.
Yeah, the jades.
Those are the ones I want. I want some. Those are about the last ones that I'm like, oh, I want them. They're so pretty.
They're so cool. They're a cool color.
But that line doesn't quite breed as true as I would like. Yeah,
a lot of black ones. We've been getting a lot of darker black.
Well, they're very dark green. But
is that what it is? It looks black to me.
Well, the lighting's not very good in that tank. So
then she's got Vienna guppies too.
Yep.
Do you set up all your guppy tanks the same, or do you set them up each one different?
I set them up with pretty much similar things because I like to put in rocks that raise the pH. So there's that nice hardness on there. I like to add the calcium in there. They need more than live bears need more than like regular fish. And and I don't worry about how hard the water gets. So my water's perfect for them. And then I just like lots of Java moss, or not Java moss, guppy grass in each of those tanks. So there's some place for little babies to hide. And so I just try to give lots of little hides for babies and, just lots of guppy grass.
That's awesome. We had a question from T-Bone. I downsized. We talked about this earlier. You guys have 70 tanks. Is that what you said? Yeah. I had almost 30 something, but I downsized. I got rid of a bunch of 5 gallons, but put up a 55 gallons. So now I think I'm in the lower 20s or higher 20s, but I think I kept about the same amount of water volume.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Larger tanks are easier. I mean, they're
Yeah. I was surprised because I always kept smaller ones, and that's just what I liked. It was from like 5. I think the biggest I had was a 30 gallon. And then I recently got in the last couple of years into the larger sizes, and I was really surprised when they say how much easier they are. They really are easier overall. I was like, wow, there is something to this.
So you said you went to larger tanks for larger fish. What larger fish did you end up going with?
I have a silver arowana upstairs.
Oh, nice.
And then since I've had it since I'm assuming he was a baby. And then I have a 75 gallon for my goldfish, and then a 40 breeder for my freshwater lionfish. And then 55 gallons for my mutt guppies, a 55 gallon for my carry tetras, and then a 55 gallon for my splendens.
Yeah, you just got me. I lost everything else you said after the freshwater lionfish. I didn't know there was such a thing.
Well, I didn't either until I walked in the fish store, and Jesse, the better half, was with me, and he's gotten excited for my bright ideas and things I keep not him. I was like, oh, that's cool. Because when the fish store owner comes up, he's like, I got something in. I was like, well, sign me up. And I was like, this is cool, but this might be too far outside my realm. I don't know. I had not heard of them particularly, but I had heard of a fish that grunts really loud, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together until he was talking. I was like, this is that fish, really? So Jesse fell in love with it, and I've had it maybe a year now, and it's getting closer to the full salt spectrum now, but I finally got it to eat bloodworms out of like one of those long plant tweezers, whatever they're called. Yeah. And it attacked it, and it has like a little rubber end. And I don't know, I've never got close enough to see inside its mouth, but it kind of got latched. It was like a fish on a hook. I was like, let go, because I don't want it. It's going to kind of sting from what I understand. So that was I was screaming. The fish was swimming. I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, but it ate 3 bloodworm cubes.
So they did take it and convert it from saltwater back to freshwater? Is that
when I got it, it was brackish.
Okay.
From what I understand, as it gets older, it likes more and more heavier salt.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how old it is, and I don't know at what point you're supposed to start adding more salt. So I was just kind of gradually getting more heavy-handed with my water changes and adding salt, and I noticed it's Lucy, so I'm assuming she was just more active. So I've just started putting more and more, and it's closer to a 1.0220 specific gravity instead of the 0.012. That made sense. So it's getting closer and closer to the full, and she's doing great. But I have a big problem with evaporation because I don't have lids on all my tank in my fish room. So I'm constantly up there because of the evaporation level. But it's an interesting and really fun fish to like just watch because you never know where she's going to be at. And she's always hiding under something or on something, just kind of stalking. But she's like, there's a little bit of information about her, but I've kind of just watched and we've just kind of learned together. Right. Like the arowana, it's like just get to know each other, and I'm gonna try my best.
You have a lid on your arowana, though, right?
Yeah. That was kind of like a catch-all because anything heavy that I bring in, I just add to the top because. Right. He's gotten so big. He hasn't moved the glass yet, but when he hits it, because he just jumps for fun at this point, I think, to get it. You can hear him hit, and you're like, that's going to get moved soon. So now I have like all my plants from outside stacked on top of the glass just for reinforcement.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, Danny and I, when we were
annoyed, because I've had him since he was in a 10-gallon. At the fish store with a freshwater, it was a black feather fin knife fish. I get my words confused. And they came as a duo. But speaking of that knife fish, I had a killer pleco. And I know that, Danny, was it you that walked into a really mean situation with the pleco?
Yes, that was awful.
And I walked into kind of a, I think, similar situation that I was like, you little.
Yeah, that one right there, it was his girlfriend that got whacked.
Well, my knife fish got killed by that Mino pleco, and man. I see him, he just tries to latch onto things, and I try to up his protein level, but trying to get stuff past the arowana, you always kind of have to overfeed a little bit, but trying to give him some more meat, I guess, obviously, in his diet, but scared me. I was so mad and sad and upset all at the same. There's just like, I don't even know what to do.
I didn't either.
I've been keeping fish a long time, and that's the first time I've had a pleco attack one of my fish.
I know, because I've always had plecos. I've had a pleco in pretty much every single tank I've ever had. That's what my dad said. You get a fish tank, you add a pleco to it.
Right.
I've never had one quite this large before, and I think if the arowana was smaller, it would try to latch onto it too. But I just tried to do, and anytime I go to any type of store and I see some kind of food of some sort that's new or something that I can try to get to him, I try that too, just to feed him as much as I can, see if that helps. But out of all the ones I had that I thought would be the most aggressive, it was not.
Yeah. Well, I've been watching them now, and I've been having to add more food, bloodworm and that type of stuff into this tank. So hopefully mellows them out now.
Yeah, that's all because I never know when. I try not to overfeed with the live bears. I'm a little bit better at it, but with the arowana and those bigger fish, they never get full. So, and it's in the dining room, so I'm in there all the time. So it seems like I'm always trying to feed it something.
In the dining room. Here's some chicken.
Well, I got mad when I had a largemouth bass. I don't know if you know that story, but I took care of that largemouth bass that Jesse's oldest son brought home. And he's like, I want to keep it. I was like, a largemouth bass. So I nursed him back to health, fed him all the time. He got huge. And I bought this 300-gallon tub for outside just for him, moved him outside, went inside to do something. I think I was only gone for like 15 minutes, and the dog had fish for dinner.
Oh!
Oh my God!
I was like, there's nothing I can do right.
I would have guessed that.
I was like, what is going on? There's just some weeks it's like, what can you do? I was just like,
I agree. There are those weeks. What can you do?
Between the family and the kids and the fish room and the animal, it's like, you guys.
Well, we didn't get to where we're at with our tanks until the kids moved out.
Yeah.
And then what we did, we got smart. We put tanks where their beds used to be, so they can never come back, man. That's guaranteed. You know?
Yeah, so that's kind of what's happening right now. We have like a pool room off over here that the teenager used all the time, but now he's back with his mom more full time, and he's got a girlfriend, so he's never here. And I was like, and Jesse's gone a lot now for work, so I was like, So I've been repainting and remodeling this week and making a nice fancy little room just for my summer tubs because I didn't want to turn them down. And so I was like, who needs all this stuff? So he hasn't seen that room in like a week, and he's going to be home. He might even be home now. And so, yeah, he's walking down the steps right now. Maybe you're screaming. It's okay.
What did I do?
Nothing.
That's funny.
We'll see.
I heard I was in trouble.
No, not at all. We'll see. But I did want to tear down all those summer tubs because I always miss one, and I feel bad. So I was like, this year, let's just move the tubs inside.
Yeah.
Better go change your thing.
Now, in the part of Missouri you're in, do you get below zero?
Sometimes. See if we can move this over so we will fit there.
Hey, Jesse.
Howdy.
It gets
There.
I would say cold, but probably not cold like you guys get cold. So I feel bad for complaining.
We don't get cold here.
No, I figured.
Yeah, average winter temp's about 40.
Really?
Whoa, that's
that's-
hot.
Yeah, that's not bad. We probably get like -2 on the coldest. But wind chill's probably like negative who knows what. And then in the summer, it gets a little bit over 100 here.
Ooh,
so it's, but we get more ice anymore than snow. We don't get a whole lot of snow anymore. It's a lot of ice. But he goes up to Iowa for work in the winter, and they get it's cold.
Yeah, Iowa, I imagine, gets cold.
Yeah, where are they from?
Oregon.
Oregon. Oh.
They know where I was born.
Oh, cool.
I was born in Oregon. I was telling you guys, I'd like to go back just to visit, just to be like, oh, this is where I was born.
Come on out. We'll be your tour guides.
I haven't seen it since I was like 6.
Oh. Can't remember where Uncle Harrison was from in Oregon.
Really?
It'll come to me eventually.
I was gonna say with your really cool fish trip that you were gone a month, weren't you?
35 days. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to do that too. Besides the guppies, did you come home and did you pick up I don't know how to say it. Did you see a fish room that was like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. I want to do that to my fish room, not just.
Well, I see one that impressed me, but I by no means want to do it.
No.
I mean, Lucas Brett's by far, I mean, just blows your mind.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he close to 300 tanks but no, I don't want to. No. I mean, I couldn't imagine trying to take care of 300 tanks.
No, I couldn't imagine. But it's nice. It's cool to see how people set up and organize and how they do things and kind of.
They are so meticulous too. Their little areas are perfectly clean. I mean, he has white carpet in the fish room. I've never seen anybody. One, carpet is out for us because I'm a constant spiller. But white carpet. I mean, white carpet. I'm like, wow.
I don't even trust myself with a white hand towel.
But I'm telling you, I don't know if he's. And then the other thing when I was at Lucas's, and I got a kick out of him with, he has that one row stacked 4 high. And he's not short. He's like 5'10", I think, or 5. What is he? Probably 5'10", 5'11", 6 foot, right at that. He has to jump way up with a handful of food, and that's how he feeds them. He does this jumpy thing for the whole row. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? He goes, I'm feeding fish. Okay, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've met Lucas maybe 4 or 5 times now in person. But I've never seen his fish room set on videos and live stream. And in my head, it's just like a dream.
Well, I was supposed to shoot it in a day. And I end up, the first day I was just shell shocked.
Whoa.
Too into everything, he's showing me around. And I'm like, okay, well, let's shoot tomorrow.
Too many.
And then Yeah, he just overwhelmed me. I mean, it was just too much cool stuff at once. I mean, because he's in the middle of building that pond.
Yeah.
So I got to, when I was there, he already had one section of it dug, and he's, going over the general layout of how it's going to be. And I was like, whoa, because it's going to have a couple different waterfalls, its own little stream. I'm like, well, what are you going to put in it? He says, Koei. I said, man, the rate you're going, sounds like you should like put rainbow trout, like different species of trout, if you have its own little river system. But he said something about he could only get it authorized because of the way he set it up. But yeah, that pond alone would be worth going back for alone. I would love to see it set up.
I can imagine.
And then Dan's Fish was another amazing place while I was out and about. Dan's Fish is amazing too.
Did you see him pack a fish bag for shipping?
Lucas?
Person?
Are you talking about Dan or Lucas?
Dan's Fish Room.
Dan, I wasn't there for I wasn't there for shipping day. Now,
I was gonna say, did you actually see him or either one of them really, because they're both really good at it. Like either one, I guess, just like how because in my head, shipping fish is like really difficult. And just seeing the process of either one really, I guess, in person would be like, whoa.
No, I was there for Lucas's shipping day. And I don't know how many he does an average week, but that week, was 70 plus boxes they were getting ready. And they have it down to the science. I helped them build boxes. And then Haley was over. It was Haley, Sarah, and him. So you hear Sarah, she'd say, blah, 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 blah. And then Haley would repeat it down the fish, because the place is enormous, fish room. Yeah. Then you'd hear Haley, blah, 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 blah. And then Lucas would grab it, and it'd be like a train back to Haley, and then back to Sarah, and boom, in the box it goes. And they did that like 60-something times. I'm like, wow.
I bet they have it everybody has, just like taking care of their fish room, everybody has their own way of doing things. And if you just get out of that one rhythm, it's just like, what?
Well, they have it.
Flow.
They have that on definitely a routine. They got it down to it. And then the other place that was really cool was Father Fish.
Oh, I
had a ball down there. He took us wild fish collecting. So we caught like 200 or 300 of these beautiful little sailfin mollies. And the water that we caught them in was like 96 degrees. It was like a hot springs. And they were all like bubbling at the top for air and stuff. I'm like, okay, we grabbed them, we took them, and they were in rough shape when we got them. And I think Ed said 8 of them total survived. But out of those 8, he's now got about 35 to 40 babies now that have been converted to our fresh water. So he's going to send me some of those. I can't wait to get them. But they're cute little guys. They're about that big, green sailfin mollies.
That's cool.
From the wild. And then we caught different types of little sunfish, yellow top minnows, I think they call them, river darters, and then there was a couple other species of gambusia and a couple of different species of killifish. And so it was fun.
Have you done anything like that before, like collecting like that, or was it your first time?
Well, where you're actually collecting ornamental fish. I mean, as a kid, I did fish all the time, but that was my first time as an adult doing it, and it was a blast. I didn't quite get into it like James from Fish Room Fever. I mean, he was up to his neck in it. He was doing like the back float, I'm like, whoa, dude, okay.
Well, we just went to the beach for the first time, both of us this summer. And on the way down there, we were like, we'll only get to like our ankles. We'll just put our feet in the sand and be like, whatever. And I got there and I turned into like a 12-year-old kid. I was diving into the waves and all this stuff. And Josie's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I'm having fun.
Which ocean were you guys at?
The Gulf Shores.
Oh, nice.
Here at Orange Beach.
Sure.
So that was really fun. And it got me a seashell tank.
Nice.
Well, John Larson brought up a good point. They brought up a good point. He was talking about putting rainbow trout in. John Larson was talking about largemouth bass. I just seen it scrolling through. I was like, yeah, I've been there, done that. They're awesome to have. You can keep them in a pond. You can keep them in a very large tank, but they are ferocious eaters. They're
eat all the time.
Fun to feed, but good Lord, Don't
And
put
we were hearing that they're good dog food too.
Yeah. Nooks.
They'll eat anything.
Well, Nooks ate the fish. I was telling the story about the dog. He had really
Well, the
good-
bass will eat dog food. They'll eat anything. I mean, they're just
well, yeah.
crazy
They'll eat it.
eaters.
Just when we kept
The
them.
tank behind me at one point, I had it was a natural fish tank. I had perch and crappie and bluegill, and Danny, she didn't like it. She's like, they're so ugly. Well, you just I enjoyed it. But
They have big personalities.
Yeah, they have
Different.
they have huge personalities,
Different.
and
It's all
they'll-
cranky though. It's just different ranges
Yeah.
of cranky.
Yeah.
Like if they're really pissed that day, it's a good day. They're happy.
You guys are hilarious.
yeah,
But his son used to eat French fries, and when we were since it was in our dining room, and I was
Well,
like,
he caught it so he could feed
that's
it
what I
French
saw. I
fries.
was
So
like,
it
it's
was-
your fish technically, but I have nursed that thing back to health, and you're gonna go over there and feed it French fries. They gobbled it down, but that thing, we got some really pretty red crayfish at the auction, and I didn't think about them being red. It's like their favorite munchy color, and two, it's going in with a largemouth bass. So I put those two really pretty brand new red crayfish, and that they didn't last very long.
They made it.
Yeah.
They made it about a day till the bass decided he could figure out how to move the rocks and get
And it
to
was
them.
like one of those moments, like, how could I have thought that was such a great idea at the time?
Oh,
And
Terry,
then
we've all had
literally,
those
like,
moments.
15 seconds later, be like, why are you so stupid? I was like, there's nothing about that makes sense, but I was so gun-ho about it.
Well, and I mean, it just brings up the deal of everybody's different on keeping. Every state's different on
Yeah,
if what you can keep that's wild.
yeah, each one's different. A lot of ours,
You have to consult your conservation agency to know exactly what you can
because
keep.
I didn't know at first, but
In Missouri, you can keep over 500 as long as you have a valid fishing license.
Mhm,
No kidding.
mhm.
Yeah, you can keep them contained inside an aquarium.
Yeah, Oregon's one of those states, they're kind of jerky. You're not even allowed to carry a live fish. It has to be dead when you leave the boat launch.
Yeah, there's a few states that are pretty strict about it. But I feel like Oregon and Washington, I hear it seems like there's a lot of different rules.
Well, the reason Washington is they have tiger muskie up there. And they don't want those getting released into Columbia or the.
Yeah.
It's all out here. It's all about the salmon and the steelhead and the trout and the sturgeon. You know, so they're always worried about. I mean, I love it because I fish walleye, and they think they're a trash fish here. They don't even consider them a valuable fish.
My goodness!
Yeah, it's like
that's right with crappie. That's like the best eating walleye and.
they don't like crappie either. They don't like the crappie.
Oh, but somebody needs to slap somebody.
No, I don't slap them. Like, hey man, just keep throwing those back. They're trash, you know.
as you're getting your pole ready.
Right.
Right.
So yeah.
What other type of things did you notice on your trip? Was there anything that you wasn't expecting that you saw, like in person, fish wise, that you're like, I didn't know I would be able to see that, or something you walked in and you're just like, whoa, I didn't.
I think
know.
it was Lucas had the bandus. I had never seen a bandus in person.
I
think those are a cool fish, which I do plan to keep eventually. And then Ed down in Tennessee had a really cool fish room. I mean, he had ponds everywhere, and then his fish room he had just built is just gorgeous.
Yeah.
But I saw so many different things. The only thing I regret of my trip is when I was in Indianapolis, Haley offered to hop in my truck with me and go down to Ohio Fish Rescue.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but when I had already committed to Ed and James about going to Father Fish, so I didn't want to hurt their. We would have still went to Father Fish, but it would have threw everything back by 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
And we weren't sure Father Fish would be available then, so.
Yeah.
that was one room I missed, and the other one I was invited to come see that I ran out of time was now I'm drawing a blank. Gosh dang it. The gentleman I got the Salvini from, what's his name?
Rusty Wessel.
Rusty Wessel, that's it. But I didn't make it there either. So, but there was a lot of, so many cool things that I did. Like when I went to Louisiana, manes, tails, spurs, and fins, Jessica, she took me horseback riding. That was cool. Off the beaten paths, out with her cattle,
I was watching that stream while I was painting the room.
Yeah, it was such a blast. And then she had just guppy after guppy, gorgeous, and then betas, beautiful betas. That was a good time. And then Big J, I went to Big J's in Bakersfield, California. Had a blast. But another place that was like, this place was like I was just shaking when I went into it, was the Cichlid Shack. This is a place I've been wanting to see for years. And I didn't picture in a million years it would be as awesome as it was. Literally, I couldn't shoot a video for 10 minutes after I get in there because I was just, geeking where my hands are shaking,
Yeah.
But
it's hard to film at places for me because I get so excited. And like when I would go to Aquashella, it seemed like the first day I was just like you said, just in so shocked that I was like in La La Land. I was like just soaking it up.
Well,
because I get so excited and I was like, I can't film right now. I'm all
I understand. When I first started YouTube and I went to the AGA up here in Seattle, and that's where I met Lucas for the first time. I met Lucas that day, Corey, Bentley, Corbus Ocean, Tanzawa Tanks, Jimmy. Who else was there that day?
Randy, and Dorkula,
Dorkula, Righty Fish Facts.
Yep.
And Alex from A History of In Your Tank.
Dean.
The Secret.
Yeah. Dean.
So, and Dean. I was just like, I didn't shoot anybody. I took
and
one
Gary
picture.
Lake.
And Gary Lake. So I took like one picture with Lucas. I'm like, I got to get one with you. And then we did get a shirt signed by Corey and the whole clan that was there. But I just was so nervous, Here's the people you were watching the whole time, and now they're in front of you, right? It was like,
they're like superstars to me. I think I've met Corey maybe twice now. And I think I've managed to ask him him and Katie, if they wanted some water. Because they were like, would you like some water? I know you have a long line. They're just superstars. I can't talk.
Right.
Your brain shuts down because I don't watch TV. I watch FishTube.
So when you go to Aquashella, you go to Texas or to the Chicago one?
I went to both.
You went to both? I guess this year they're doing it in Orlando too.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to try to go to whichever one or as many ones as I can because they're so fun.
Right. Well, we got a little bummed out. We don't get a lot of stuff out this way. The AGA was one, and then we were going to have an ACA here in Sacramento, but that got canceled because of this junk going around.
Yeah, they need one in Vegas or something like that eventually, maybe. That would be
Yes, please, Vegas. Let's go to Vegas.
Well, also, too, going to Vegas, you get such cheaper flights.
Yeah.
So it'd make it more affordable for
And
more
you can eat
people to
good
go.
because they don't charge you a lot at the casinos to eat. They want you to gamble. So, like, our best friend, she doesn't eat lobster. And my wife was sick, but we went down there for a bowling tournament. And it was all you can eat lobster.
Wow.
So me and my buddy, we get it on.
Yeah.
I think I ate like 35 of them, man. I ain't kidding. I just kept munching. But this poor wife is like, hates seafood. She hates the smell of it. And I just remember her lifting her plate, and there was like a river of lobster juice going down the table.
You guys were in heaven, and she's like, oh my gosh.
Bowling? Was he down there? Were you bowling?
Yeah, I'm a bowler.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I'm going to have to hook you up with my boy.
Yeah.
Thank you that I don't.
Well, I don't personally do that. I'm a wrestler. I wrestle. Coach wrestling all my life. Wrestled since I was little bitty. So is my boy. But he got hurt real bad when he was young, screwed his elbow up, and they said, go ahead and do a different sport to rehab your elbow. He picked bowling of all things. And right now, he's 16 and he bowls every Saturday. And his average, he's sitting on like a 202 is his average.
That's a good average. That's a real good average.
Yeah.
See what my sport is.
YouTube.
No.
What's your sport?
You're a golfer?
No, I'm a walker.
Walker, okay.
I practice walking and I'm falling.
Well, that's going to be a good trend to have if you ever go to Yellowstone.
Yeah, because I hit and fall down a lot. Just walking is challenging. And sometimes on water change day, I try to walk and carry buckets at the same time, and that doesn't always work out.
You got to get a python.
Well, I've upgraded to like this. I use a water hose and a pump.
That works. Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that or not, but I used to change my water 1 gallon at a time with like a drinking bucket, like a I fill it up. So when it seemed like Sundays was the live stream day for everybody. So I turned it on. I would start with D or Guppy Guru and water change on Sundays all day, a gallon of water. I'd siphon it out, fill up my bucket, and dump 1 gallon at a time and move on to the next one all day.
I just come down. I come down and scrub tanks and leave.
So now that I have this water hose and a pump, I'll fill it up and pump them in. And he had put something on it where I could slow it down and speed it up. It's changed my life.
I'll bet.
Yeah. So
yeah, there's no way with our tanks we could do it by buckets anymore. Well, for one, we're both in our 50s. There's no way. I mean, I spent my time with buckets for a long time, but nowadays it's Python. And you know, our friends are like, "Well, how come you haven't got auto change yet?" I'm scared of auto change, man.
Yeah,
Get you away from your fish, and you start not seeing what's going on. And
I can see the concept of them and how they're a good idea, but that's seems like when you notice so much, you're like, oh, look at that, or oh, look at this, and I don't know. That's kind of a fun. It's sometimes can be a lot of work, mainly just trying to be careful.
Right.
But
yeah,
that's the fun time. So
I agree. I absolutely agree.
And knowing me, I wouldn't hook it up right, so there'd be something.
You sound like Ken. We have incidents.
Hey.
So maybe
there we go. Now we're getting to the meat of the problem.
but Carrie must have Carrie incidents.
Yeah. Like, don't watch.
I have fix a thing called phone calls. Do you know how to fix this?
Yeah. That he gets phone calls. But the worst is I've learned to do water changes when either he's here to watch the kids or they're at school, because this has happened in like at least twice, and it's embarrassing. I'll siphon the tank and be like, oh, it's almost done, I'll be back. And then the next day, it's like, oh my God, I was siphoning a tank. And come down here, and there's like this much water left in the tank. Everything's good, everything's live, but there's.
Yeah, I came home from work one time. She did it. And my prize African cichlids. This one I had some gorgeous. I lost my mind. Hey, were you in here doing something? She goes, why? I said, because half my Africans are dried out. What's going on?
They were not. He exaggerated.
They were doing the last press.
You were not. He's so full of it. It was, shallow
They
water.
were laying on their side, swimming circles.
It's either that or it's the waterfall going down the stairs.
Yeah. I've had that one.
Well, when I went off with Shella one time, my tanks looked great. I was like, everything's water changed. I'm ready to go. Like, I'm nervous. Let's go. Well, the water that fills up the trash can that I use for water was on a trickle. Like, it was barely trickling out, and I didn't notice it. And he was supposed to come down here every day. But he came down here the last day.
I came down the day before last, because she said
There was
every
water.
tank was fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there is water.
Feed them 2 days from now. I've already cleaned everything, fed everything. Everything's good. You can come down here in 2 days. I was like, okay. I came down.
There was water everywhere.
I came down to play pool in my pool room, and for some reason, my pool room was wet.
Ooh. So you put a lot of gallons on the ground.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't horrible, but it was enough to be
and
like.
And then I walked back around the stairs, and I started walking across the wrestling room, and it was wet. And then I started walking towards the fish room, and it was real wet. I went, uh-oh. And I looked at that tub, and it was sitting there dripping, and it was just enough water. It just barely eke over the top.
But on a positive note, nothing broke.
That's the first thing when I go in my fish room. I see water, I panic. Okay, what tank just
like,
blew?
Oh man!
And did it blow up high where I don't have dead fish? And
because I don't know. Do you guys use hang on the backs or canister filters or air sponge filters? What do you?
All of them.
All of them.
We have, well, it varies by most of the cichlid tanks are ran by FX6 or FX4s.
I have a 4 upstairs.
Yeah, and then we also do put sponges in with them.
Okay.
And then most of our 55 to 75 gallons will have hang on the backs along with sponge filters. Mm-hmm. And then anything 20 gallons and below is almost all sponge filtered.
Mm-hmm. We got a question. What kind of water conditioner do you eat? Water conditioner when you, I can't read it. Water change.
We use Safe.
Safe.
Matter of fact, Danielle, you got that in the room, or you can show them?
Yeah, I do. I think
maybe Prime in the past.
I got it in here. I'll grab it. Hold on.
Use the Fritz one right now. What I don't know.
But the Prime that the Safe that we use, it just takes such a minuscule amount that it lasts forever.
Right now we're using that one, but we've used Prime.
Mm-hmm. That's the Prime is what I've always used, but I got this in one of my aquarium boxes, and I like it.
Safe is the powder version of Prime.
Danny and I switched to this stuff about, a year ago?
Yeah.
But this little bitty bottle, I don't know if you guys can see it. I mean, it's not that big.
Mm-mm.
No, that's pretty little.
That will last us 8 months with 70 ticks.
Yeah.
So.
What's up, DMC?
Did you guys always fish keep, or did you guys fish keep when you guys got together? When did you individually start keeping fish?
Well, I started when I was real young. I mean, 6, 7 years old, and had lake fish in a little fish bowl. I mean, I killed all of them on accident, but that's how I got started at it. But together, we really got. When we were in California, we were living with her parents, so we really didn't get crazy about it. But once we got to Hawaii, had our own place, I mean, that's when our hobby went nuts. I mean,
and when I was young, I was 12 years old. I came down with I had pneumonia super bad. And I was in so much pain with every breath. And my dad came in and he set up a fish tank in my room to help keep my mind off of the pain that I was in. Mm-hmm. So he set it up with all these beautiful little neon tetras and stuff so I could sit there in bed and watch the fish. And that was my first way to fall in love with fish.
Yeah, that's
cool.
It
was cool.
Sorry you got sick, but at least you had something really good to look at.
Yeah, it was really great. My dad was super during the whole thing. I was very, very sick.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. What was the question?
I was just going to ask you, do you guys, when you go fish shopping, do you tell each other what you're going to get, or do you just come home and be like, look, surprise?
Because we both already know the answer. I don't need to call her, and she don't need to call me, because the answer is always yes with us. So,
I bet some people that plan out a tank, practice the aquascape, they plan everything, and then some people just be like, well, I set something up today and fell in love with this. It's it's just a whole range.
Yeah, when Drogon was growing up, our black nasty Haitian cichlid, or I found out she's a she now. I kept calling him he, but she got to be about that big. I'm like, okay, you need a bigger tank. So she was right next to my bed. That was like my little fish.
Mm-hmm.
So I moved her down into a 55. And when Danny was at work, I was all proud because I'm not known for my plant ability.
Yeah.
But I made this super cool with manzanita wood and rock. And I made this cool little scape with all kinds of cool little plants. And she came home to nanofish. I had all kinds of cool little like ember tetras and green tetras and pygmy cories, you know.
To say I was shocked would be the major understatement. To go from the cichlid that's really known for how nasty it is to nanofish.
Well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I just normally come home to, hey, guess what I got?
Yeah.
Especially when he's out of town for work because I'm here unattended.
Hey, guess what I got? And by the way, now you need to figure out what we're gonna do with it.
The only time I get afraid when Danny's gonna tell me something is one, her hands she'll be going like this, and then it's always, you would not believe the deal I got.
Yeah, I've heard most of those. That is
normally these are $200. Okay, I got them for $80 a piece. Woo! I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah.
Like she went Black Friday shopping.
Yeah. Whenever she starts
These are at my birthday, so I'm like, it's Black Friday. And it's almost my birthday.
Me too. So like mine's November 27th.
Mine's the 20th.
So I totally get Black Friday and my birthday.
Yeah. They always call me a turkey baby because I
Me
came
too.
home from the hospital on Thanksgiving when I was a kid.
KG Sticklers. But babe, it's a rescue.
Yeah.
She'll be hitting me up in 5 days. We've been married 31 years. So I'm sure we'll have to do something fishy that day.
Yeah. You guys should be tank mates for Halloween.
That's a great idea.
I was like, who was I talking to? I was talking to someone the other day and I was like, I want to be someone's tank mate for Halloween. I was like, what's up with me this year?
Well, DMC's in here if we're still going to do something central location gathering.
I think there was one. Isn't there? Do you know?
There's one
in Tennessee.
James had to cancel it.
Okay.
And it wasn't even the COVID caused it. He was planning on still going to do it. But because of the COVID, like Army of Engineers and all these, safe people type joints took all these large tents that he was going to use for it.
Oh.
And you can't get one. They're like rebuilding them in China, and he can't get tents right now.
Yeah, I was going to message them. I had a feeling it was sometime coming up soon, and I'm itching to see everybody again. But
yeah, I think it was going to be the end of October, if I remember right.
But there was one a couple of weeks ago that Chattanooga and Tech went to.
Was it a trunk show?
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
They went there with Haley and Lucas, and I think Tech went with them. So
yeah, I watch everybody.
Yeah, we
sometimes I get
that
people
weekend.
confused. I'm like, was that that stream or that stream?
Because Indianapolis is not a bad drive, but it's like 6.5.
Yeah, we're right in the middle, so everything's kind of even.
That's what I'm telling you, dude. I would be envious to live back in the Midwest where I'm 6 hours away from everything. Like me to go back to where that's 24, 26 hours to where you guys are at.
I don't know how you drove that much.
I didn't take my foot off the gas, man.
I'm a good passenger, but I am not a good driver because I can't see very well. So if it wasn't for the seeing, once cars really drive themselves, I can drive.
You know what's cool, Carrie?
Huh?
They got things out there that they make for folks.
Yeah. I still can't see with my glasses on. I have my contacts in right now because the only time I wear my contacts is for the stream because the computer glares and it drives me nuts. But even with my glasses on, I'm like, oh my gosh. And he's like, no wonder you're with me. It's kind of like our joke. He's like, once you're able to see.
I'll be out of here as soon as she can figure out what I look like.
Yeah. We've been together for 5
Oh, you're all right, Jesse. My wife kept me around. She can't see.
Yeah, because we've been together for 5 years, but we've known each other. We grew up as neighbors.
Ah, cool.
So we tried dating in high school, but he was too mouthy for me. I was like, "You're too." And then I was like,
Nicest guy on the planet. I think it was something to do with a teenage girl. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to start there.
I couldn't do something, and I was like, bye. Then we wound up back together. But we rode the school bus together.
That's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kenny, with his eyesight, he would drive by. We'd drive by this. He knew his eyes were going bad, but he was like, Danielle, that was a really suspicious person standing next to the road there. Ken, that was a tree. Just saying. I think you need to get some glasses.
Yeah, that happens to me. I'm always like looking out and I'm like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, it's like it's a stick.
Yeah, before I got my glasses, I was bad, man. I'd have to be like 4 foot away before I'd see the actual sign for the streets.
Yeah.
At nighttime was really bad. So
yeah, when he wants me to drive at night, I'm like, are you sure? Like, really?
that might be a clue, Jesse. You might want to continue driving.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, John Larson added to that one. He was like, if you know where you're going, you don't even need to see.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
Well, this new car we got, it's got this lane assist thing on it, and the steering wheel moves. And so I'm like,
I'm just gonna keep buying her smarter and smarter cars.
Yeah. Like,
Safer.
a little bit, and with the I was like, wow, this is kind of helpful.
Yeah, help roll the passengers.
Yeah, my truck's got an adaptive cruise where you can't rear end somebody, it automatically slows down, and I got crash sensors and all that stuff. Made it a lot easier. It irritates you when you got to set it 110 and then you can only go 70 because of people in front of you.
It's a lot better than the old days. Like Ken had a Maserati, and he put the kids in the back seat of the car, and then he's taking us down these backcountry roads, and he's going 120 plus down this backcountry road. I said, tomorrow you were selling this car.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
My dad,
you admitted though, that guy in the Camaro, you thought, yeah, picking on me because I'm an old man revving his engine, and who blew his doors off? Now, was I admit I was not being a good parent when I had our children flip him off as we blew his doors off.
Kenneth, you did not. He did not. He's exaggerating.
Well, when I was a kid, my dad had a couple of cars that didn't even have seat belts, and he would fly, and he was just hang on tight. We'd be flying, flopping around in the back seat.
She won't let me get it. She don't want me to. I want a Harley, and she won't let me get one because she knows I'll max it out.
Max it out. He'll just be dead.
Are you sure?
Twins on the road.
Are you sure he hasn't tried the cannonball run from Coke?
He might have. He really might have.
I'll be the goofy guy with the big eyeballs going down the road on that motorcycle.
I mean, they just reset that record on the Cannonball Run. I think they did it in like 22 hours, just a little bit.
I have no idea.
Average speed was 116, 18.
There's parts in Montana and Wyoming and all those states. I mean, I don't even know why. Well, I know Wyoming forever didn't even have a speed limit. They just recently, because I think the feds were going to take away their highway money if they didn't put a speed limit.
Montana.
Was it Montana? But yeah, I mean, you could go whatever speed.
Well, I know North and South Dakota, the speed limits are 80, 85.
But that's dangerous. I was doing that And I was going along, clipping along, coming around this corner, and there's a mountain goat right in front of me. I almost hit the mountain goat. So luckily I was able to stop, and there was no.
Well, the good news is at 85 miles an hour, there ain't gonna be much goat left when you're done.
We have deer here.
There won't be much car left either.
No.
Right.
Deer will like jump into your car. There's deer. They're fearless.
well, we run up to Fargo and stuff and wrestle, and yeah, we were doing that one night, and I was booking along at about 95 going through there, and woo boy, yeah.
It gets your attention.
Yeah, big deer, big deer, mule deer.
I'll never forget, we were taking the kid. Where were we? Oh, it was one of our kids' birthday, Christmas Eve. We're coming back, presents in the thing, everything's cool. And I hit a deer. The damn thing came up over the top of the car, shit on the windshield, and then went over to the back of the car. And the whole time my daughter's whacking me in the back of the head, just going off of me. You hit Rudolph, you just going off on me. Then she did it. So then I pull over because I wanted to check on the poor thing, make sure, I was going to take it out of his misery if it was bad.
Yeah.
She gets out of the car and she's going to go up and give it a hug. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
I'm going to give it a hug.
Well, you were going awful close to it.
Right. Candy says Montana didn't have a speed limit. Wyoming always has, and they nail you. Ask me how I know.
Now, I did get to see Miss Candy while I was on that trip too.
Wow.
But I got a picture for my personal, but I promised her I would not post any pictures that I took of her, which I kept my word, Candy.
Candy is like this mythical creature that's like
she's
amazing.
A unicorn.
That you're like, I know she's real, but how could someone that awesome she's just so
And
cool.
let me tell you, she has some gorgeous takes.
I bet. I was going to say really quick before we go that every time I watch your live stream, I smile just because of Danny's infectious laugh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You have the best laugh ever.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Anytime I'm like, because I was watching your streams, because I always start your streams, but I always fall asleep to them, honestly. I wake up and they're still on my phone. So I was trying to catch up, and I was redoing this room, and I was moving the shelves, and I totally broke the TV. So I was in a little bit of a bad mood because I shattered the TV with the boards, and I was listening to you, and I was like,
how do you carry a board and punch it through a television?
It's like,
now, I'm not going to open my mouth, Jesse. I'll be truthful.
You made me feel better just by listening to you laugh.
Oh, I'm so glad that's so
I
funny.
promise you, I'm the male version of Carrie, guaranteed. I
I was just like, no, I gotta go to Walmart.
Bro, I had a whole wing at the hospital named after me for a couple of summers.
It's so true.
Well, you're raising daughters. Let me tell you what you get to look forward to, man.
Yeah.
So my daughter, I come home and there's 2 young men in my house, which isn't allowed, first off. So I pull out my Marine K-bar, I start spinning this sucker, and I stuck it right in my arm, all the way out. I pull it out and blood starts going. So anyway,
You can't act like you're hurt though. Not after you did something.
Oh no,
like
I didn't. I'm like, son of a. I'm raising all kinds of cane, cursing like a son of a gun. I'm like, now it's gonna cost me $150, $200. And I go out the door. So I come back and I'm like, I'm sure those boys are scared of me. They said they're terrified of you. Why? Well, Dad, because your arm was spewing blood, and all you could complain about is how much it was going to cost you. Never once did you complain about the pain.
No, but I'm going to be out in the garage with some super glue and a little bit of electrical tape. And I'll be fine because I'm not going to the emergency room.
Oh, I went for that one. I mean, I gassed it good. It hit one of the arteries, so they had to actually go in there. It was bad. Whenever you see blood going like this, yeah, you have to go.
Oh, you could have sewed that up. That's not.
I'm usually the guy who'll say, get a beer and watch this, but not in that case. When I start seeing blood going like this, man, it's a bad day.
Yeah, it's usually pretty rough. I've been there. There's eventually a point you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah, with me, it's usually like something's hanging like this. Okay, I gotta go, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Raising girls was really tough for Ken.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking before the stream because my son's 8 and his daughter just turned 9. And I was like, right now, Brighton's kind of the more difficult one. And Charlie, you just tell her to do anything and she does it. She listens really well. But there's going to be some morning, some random Tuesday where Charlie's going to wake up and she's going to hate us.
Oh, yeah.
I hate you. I don't want to look at you. Your breathing gets on my nerves. And Brighton's going to be like, what can I help you with, Mom? Like,
Yeah, Jesse, that day's coming. All of a sudden, best way to describe it is exorcist. That head's going to spin. What do you want?
Yeah.
It's bad,
Your
man.
breathing annoys me.
Yeah.
I told him, I was like, no matter how sweet she is right now, just wait.
When the boys moved out, that was the most challenging years because I had two daughters in their teen years, plus this one, that one.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I didn't stand a chance, man. Nope, I had a rag from the truck. I'd throw it in, and if it came back ripped up, I knew I better go somewhere else for the night. But
Oh,
yeah,
shoot.
it's gonna be a fun time. It's just going to be like look so forward to it.
Fish tank barn. My daughter's 10 already there. I feel for you.
Yeah. Well, I guess to wrap it up again, just thank you for chit-chatting with me.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you,
really
Brandon.
fun.
It was well overdue. Had a ball with you.
Yeah. Do you want to say anything?
Anytime.
Yeah, anytime.
And that goes for you guys. Bring your butts out here to Oregon.
Yeah. I'm itching for another trip. It seems like we just got back and I've already want to go somewhere again.
Yeah, there's lots to do here.
I'm the tree guy. I like the trees out there.
Yeah.
We got some big trees.
Yep, the bigger the better. That's my specialty.
Well, we can get you on some big ones.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
don't challenge me. Don't give me a good time.
Yeah.
I won't be joining you. I'll tell you that right now. I ain't going up in the tree with you, Jesse. But if you want to go up at the top of a tree, I'll show you where there's a good one.
Oh man,
I'll fall out of it.
I'll bring my steel flip line.
There you go.
Well, thank you again for talking with me. And I just want to say to everybody in the chat, thank you for tuning in. It was really fun. And I really do appreciate you guys. And I appreciate you guys for talking to me again. Just thank you so much.
Yeah, it was a blast with you as well. We'll see you guys again soon.
Bye, guys.
Bye.